Hey there, fellow student programmers. Today we're going to explore a cool piece of code that combines the power of ReactJS with Cypress testing library. So, what does this code do and why is it useful? Well, imagine you're building a web application with React, and you've got this neat little component called a counter. It's pretty straightforward. You've got buttons to increase and decrease a number. Now, as you're developing, you want to make sure this counter works exactly as expected and bug-free. That it increments when you press the plus button, decrements when you press the minus button, and doesn't go below 0 or exceed a certain limit. This is where our code comes in handy. We've written some Cypress tests to automatically check all these functionalities for us. These tests simulate what a user would do: clicking buttons, checking if the number updates correctly, and making sure it doesn't break the app. By having these tests in place, we can confidently make changes to our code without worrying about accidentally breaking something. It also helps us catch bugs early in the development process, saving us time and effort in the long run. Now let's dive into the code and see how it all works. First off, we have our React component called counter. This component renders a simple counter with buttons to increment and decrement the count. It uses React's useState hook to manage the state of the count. Next, we set up our Cypress test to ensure that our counter component behaves as expected. We use the describe function to group our tests under a common category, which in this case is the counter component. Within each describe block, we use the it function to define individual tests. Each test focuses on a specific aspect of the counter component's functionality, such as checking the initial count, incrementing the count, decrementing the count, and so on. To interact with our React component and simulate user actions, we use Cypress commands like scivisit, sciget, scicontains, and should. These commands allow us to visit our web page, select elements by their CSS selectors, check if certain text exists within elements, and assert expected outcomes. For instance, in our test to check if the count increments correctly, we first locate the increment button using sciget function. Then we simulate a click on this button using click. After that, we retrieve the count element using sciget function with the data attribute dataTestID and checking it equals count. Then assert its text to be the expected value using shouldHaveText function. Similarly, we have tests for decrementing the count, ensuring the count doesn't go below 0, and ensuring it doesn't exceed a certain limit, in this case, 10. By writing these Cypress tests, we can automate the process of testing our React component's functionality, ensuring that it behaves as intended without the need for manual testing. This saves us time and effort, especially as our project grows larger and more complex. In conclusion, incorporating Cypress tests into our React application offers a multitude of benefits, especially when considering larger projects. This code provides a solid foundation for ensuring the functionality of our components remains intact as our application scales. By adhering to principles of extensibility and reusability, we can easily expand upon these tests as new features are added or existing ones are modified. This not only streamlines our development process, but also enhances the maintainability of our codebase. Furthermore, by automating our testing process with Cypress, we greatly improve the efficiency of our development workflow. We can catch bugs early on, iterate more quickly, and deliver a more reliable product to our users. Thanks for watching, everyone, and don't worry if you missed anything. We've added a link to the source code in the description. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe for more of the same. Thanks again, and remember, we're always learning, so keep coding and keep exploring.